Hello, there we go.
Hello.
With delay on going live there. That's okay.
Did you hit the live button?
The live is yes. I hit the live button and I know how to hit the record button.
I'm doing a dig at me. I'm doing a dig at me.
Dig at yourself. Nice. Anyway, it's another Wednesday night, and we're here with the Open Shutter crew, and we have a special guest, Sharon Verbeek, who's going to be with us today talking about newborn photography. So we'll do a quick run around the table. We'll go reverse direction from normal, and we'll start with Evans.
Oh, fancy.
Guys, welcome to another edition of Open Shutter.
Your volume is low, Mr. Audio.
Yes.
Hey.
Beep.
How is it now? Is it better?
That's better.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We can hear you now.
Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome to another edition of Open Shutter Live. Today we're talking newborn photography, and it's nice for a change to have a female guest. So it's not 100%. A boy one today, and I'm excited for that. So hope you guys have some good times today. Hope your day was blessed. We're going to spend some time talking about newborns. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Evans, based in Brampton, Ontario. I shoot weddings and events primarily, but shoot everything else for fun. So it's going to be a good show. I've done a little bit of newborn stuff, but it's one of the hardest things for me to do. So I'm excited to see how Sharon deals with it. Andre.
Hey, everybody. Andre here, also a Brampton photographer. I shoot everything but babies because I have tried it in the past, and it just, I don't know. I give it up to people that can do it well, and so I can't wait to hear what Sharon has to say about it. So, Paul?
Yeah, for sure. Big thanks to Sharon for taking the time and doing this. Like Evan said, it's so great to have women on the show because there's way too many guys on the show every week. So it's always good to get other perspectives. So huge thanks to Sharon. And I've never shot babies. Like I don't know anything about it. I've been shot, so maybe I can be called a baby, but I think it's gonna be really eye-opening because I think there's a lot of things that we don't think of when we think of newborn photography, and I think Sharon's gonna shed some light on that. So it's gonna be fun. If this is your first time on the show and you're wondering who are all these people, the four dudes here have YouTube channels, and every week we take turns hosting something around photography, and we're on Bryan's channel, so make sure you like it, check us all out, subscribe, do all that stuff. And what can I say? I run a photography meetup group called Get Out Shoot. We just posted a meetup today. I think it's full, but you never know what happens. And check us out, getoutshoot.com. And my YouTube channel is all about vlogs and documentaries. There's going to be a documentary dropping next week, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And that's my pitch.
Awesome. All right. And I'll go quick. My name is Bryan, Brampton-based photographer, videographer, and I shoot pretty much everything except babies too.
Yeah.
And again, make sure you subscribe to everyone on YouTube. Follow everybody's IG. All the links will be in the description below.
Links.
And including the link to Sharon's website. So if you want to check her out after the show, make sure you check her out. Let's without further ado, let's introduce Sharon, our special guest for tonight.
Studio applause.
Yay.
Studio applause.
We don't have sound effects.
We don't have studio applause. That's all we got.
Well, hi, I'm Sharon, and I've been photographing newborns for about 13 years now. And so I like it. I enjoy it. You get to snuggle babies, and that's probably the best part. I can snuggle them and then give them back to the parents and get my baby fix that way, not have any more. So that's what I like. That's my most favorite part about it.
Nice.
Snuggling the babies. And they're cute. And nobody really complains about babies' double chin, which is nice too.
Yeah, that part I'm sure is nice.
The moms do sometimes, but we all worry about that.
Yeah, we got lots of active people in the chat tonight. So if anybody has any questions, please throw them in the chat, and I will make sure we get them passed along to Sharon as well. So go around the table, guys, and let's just start asking Sharon some questions.
Yeah, sure. I guess maybe we'll just start with how'd you get into newborn photography?
Well, I've been doing photography for since the 90s. I've just always been into photography, worked in some like mini labs, photo labs, took it in college, but I took graphic design. There was nothing then that was my calling for photography. I wasn't really into advertising or commercial photography. And then I did some weddings and families, just part-time for fun, like because I like taking pictures. Eventually, some of those people started having babies. I had my son, but I had Canadian baby photographer come and do his photos back then because I wasn't doing baby pictures then. You remember those guys? They were the thing back
bad
then.
Stories about those guys.
Yeah, they've got some poses
Yeah.
that are a little scary
They
back then.
Well, we had some questionable comments from one of their photographers towards our child.
Oh, I remember Joanne
really?
talking about that actually.
Yeah.
Then when my client started having babies, and when I had my first daughter, I practiced on her. I mean,
Right.
they're not very good photos, as I was learning as far as it goes now. And then it just became my thing, I guess. Back then, there wasn't all the stuff that there is now for, you can go online and find courses and find all kinds of information. So it was a lot of finding things online and just doing your own sort of thing, and over time everybody started doing it, and now it's like guidelines and specific poses that have names and all of this kind of stuff, right? So it's become a big thing. It's everybody, but I've always loved it, so I stay with it.
Yeah, you just got to keep putting the work in.
I think a lot of people like that sort of Ann Getty's classic kind of.
Well, yeah, I started with Ann Getty's, right? Like I remember that's kind of, she was the first for all of it, right?
Yep.
Having calendars and photos and stuff back then. And then I think that's kind of
people
how it evolved.
Yeah, some people still look for that kind of thing, and some people wanted a little more lifestyle and relaxed.
Yeah, there's lots of lifestyle stuff. I do more. I do like a halfway between lifestyle and posed. I do posed, but it's not like I don't do all of the froggy pose and potato sack pose. There's a lot of poses that a lot of newborn photographers do, and they strive to do all the time. That they just do. I do more. It's posed, but more natural, I guess, more laying down. They got their teddy bears and they're in buckets and that kind of thing, but they're not all. I don't strive for. I let the baby lead more, so it's kind of half and half for me. My style.
Well, you've been doing it long enough that you've developed your own style, and I guess it works for you.
Yeah.
Minus the pandemic, of course.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to show some of Sharon's photos? Right.
I got a few.
Maybe give like the audience a little bit of a taste of Sharon's style.
I have a question, but before I ask my question, I'm going to encourage you guys to go ahead and like the video. We've got 10 people watching, but 2 likes, and one of them is me. So
Sharon, like,
go ahead and like.
Do it for Sharon. Guys. Don't do it for us. Do it for Sharon. Way to be on the ball, Evans. Way to be on the ball, man. Like police.
yeah. The likes brings in more viewers, right? So it's important that when you guys are watching the show, it's important you like it to let people know that you're enjoying the show, right?
Man, look at that.
So Sharon, whilst we're going through those pictures, I just want to ask, what are some of the major challenges you face when it comes to newborns in particular?
Challenges are the baby themselves. A lot of times to get a lot like these posed poses, they need to be sleeping. And if they're not sleeping, they need to be relaxed, happy baby. So they're not anybody's had a newborn around, even though they're kind of they don't control their hands or their faces and their eyes go crossed, and they're brand new and they're just learned, like they're all over the place. So if they're awake, they got to be a nice, calm, relaxed baby. So you can get some nice, I think I sent Bryan an awake photo. I'll try and find some. I get quite a few babies that are nice and calm. If they're fed and they're warm and they're happy, you can get a nice relaxed picture. But if they're not fed, gassy, gas is my enemy, then they're just not having it. They need to be asleep in order to have them look like they're not gassy, you know.
And these are shot in your home studio?
Yeah. Like I said, I used to travel to people's homes, but it just became hard to all the photographers that do that now.
Yeah.
Good. It's a lot of work. Like for the stuff that I bring, if I was doing lifestyle, that would be easy. You go and you can do it on, not that it's easy, but you don't have to lug all the stuff with you. You bring a few things and shoot in their home and use their home as a backdrop.
So what are some of the things that you would take to a newborn shoot to help keep the newborn calm? And
A little heater, a space heater, and I've had times where my heater blows and I've had to use a hair dryer, just off to the side because just to keep them warm, a little bit warm. You got to watch you don't overheat them. You don't want to blow the heat right on them. You want to have it sort of off and just keep them warm, because they stay asleep and they'll otherwise, they're uncomfortable, especially because a lot of these are not naked or just not fully wrapped and they're out. So the heater is important. Other things I would bring if I was going to a home, or what I use every time when my sessions is the bean bag, big bean bag that the baby's posed on. So it's soft and pliable. A lot of people now are using posing tables and card tables and like even dog beds that are converted into and whatever works for you. I just haven't gone that route because I'm happy with my beanbag. You can stuff little blankets and pillows and whatever underneath the baby to prop them up to get those angles and to keep them from, rolling backwards or something.
Interesting.
Baby shushers. I don't use one, but lots of photographers use those baby shushers. Like, they make that shush noise to help them sleep.
Yeah, the white noise
sleep.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recently bought like a little vibrating pad. It looks like a whoopee cushion, but it vibrates, and you can buy it and stick it in the baby's crib, like under their mattress to vibrate. But I heard lots of good things, but I haven't had a chance to use it yet. So it might help, babies like the car movement and stuff like that. If they can't settle, maybe that will help. I've heard lots of things.
Right. So what would happen if a baby just full on like tantrum? Like, would you just reschedule the shoot, or would you try something to calm the baby down? Or
only a few times that's happened where I haven't been able to get pictures from the baby, and usually it's a feeding issue where the baby's not getting enough milk if mom's breastfeeding, and mom's hormones, sometimes they don't want to use a bottle or they don't want to use a pacifier, and baby just won't calm down because they're hungry. That's really and that's only happened a couple times, and I've photographed hundreds of newborns. Sometimes it takes a lot longer. If they're fussy, sometimes you got to do a lot of, rocking them and just trying to get them to sleep. You got to get them into that deep sleep so you can get the pictures, because every time you move them, if they're not in a deep sleep, they wake up and start over.
Right. Makes sense. Makes sense.
And I don't mind doing the snuggling and all that baby soothing and stuff, but I think it stresses the parents out, right? They're like, they want the baby to sleep. They want to get the pictures done. They want to go home and take a nap, whatever. So they're just like, they're still, I'm trying not to make it horrible for the parents, want them to be relaxed
exactly
during it.
Exactly.
Sometimes dads will go take a nap on the couch, and that's great,
Interesting.
Give me your baby and let me do it.
Yeah.
So how often do you end up with the other end of the baby coming through?
The poop?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, because that's a real side of it too.
I guess that happens, right?
Anyone who's changed a diaper knows what that's like.
Oh yeah.
I've stopped. I won't say stopped. I've cut down quite a bit over the years on doing the naked baby pictures, and if I do, I'll do them at the end of the session. I used to do them all the time, like parents holding the baby, and then the baby would pee or poo, and then sometimes parents would get real upset. Not that their baby peed or pooed, but I don't know. They just don't, they've got their best outfit on and then they get poop on it or whatever. Right. So I just sort of stopped doing that, and I'll do the baby. I'll keep them with the diaper and a little outfit or wrap them up. And it just takes away that, we don't have to worry about that. I had one session. They had 5, it was their 5th baby with 5 kids, and the mom wanted naked because she had naked with the other babies in their newborn pictures. And she pooped like 4 times in a row. As soon as we clean it up, she'd poop. As soon as we cleaned it up, she'd poop again. Mom had on a white, I had to edit out all this poop on her white shirt. It was just like, wow. That one. And it was hard enough with 5 kids, right? And then all of this pooping was going on. Yeah. I got pooped on, peed on.
Poops everywhere.
My reflector to this day still has a poop stain on it. We were talking about all this poop. Baby was in like the bum up position. So it just was in perfect position to shoot the poop.
Tony, I knew you were going to ask that question, Tony.
Yeah, so we have a question from Tony. Do you use mostly natural light or occasionally a strobe as well?
I use strobe. I used to use natural light when I went to people's homes, but it was hard going to people's homes and you didn't know what kind of light they had in their house, or it was like a really dark day. I'd have to, and then if you had siblings, I'd have to bump up my ISO to ridiculous amounts just to get to get your aperture where you need it with 3 kids moving around and whatever. It was just so then I invested in the strobe, and I've used that ever since because it just makes life so much easy. But it's it bounces, it's bounced and what's the word, diffused, double diffused, and bounced, so it's not like direct harsh in baby's eyes or anything like that, right?
And then Kim wants to know what colors you'd like to have people wear.
For my portraits, I prefer like solid colors, no stripes or plaid, because it takes away from, you want to show the faces, the hands, the baby, right? Like a connection. And if somebody's wearing like a big bright orange and blue plaid shirt, it just draws your eye away. So I prefer more neutral colors, solid colors, no words or logos, that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be black, or people don't have to all match. Just if everybody's coordinated, like if it was one big outfit, everything looks good color-wise. And then also you want mom to feel comfortable, because right after having a baby, usually their body's not where they want it to be. I'm like 9 years later, my body's not where I want it to be, but so you just dress so that you're not like what you use. Because I get moms they're sort of last minute, they're rushed and they pick something and then they regret it after, because they're like, oh, I don't like how so it is important for moms anyways. Dads too. I've had dads that come when their shirt's too small or all wrinkled, and then, can you edit the wrinkles?
Good times.
If we charge more, sure.
It's in the rider.
So now, one of the things that I really hyped up when we were setting up the show was safety during a photo shoot with a baby, because you see people putting babies in these positions that they should not be in for photos. And so can we discuss, please, safety and tips for anyone who's starting into newborn photography, things you definitely should not do with a newborn?
Well, the good thing now is because there are so many websites and things out there, there's lots of information out there on how to do these poses properly. But for people who don't know, a lot of the poses are composites, so they're done digitally after. And if they're, so like the baby in a swing, hanging in a swing, it's not actually hanging in a swing, or hanging in a hammock. It's not actually hanging there. It's shot on a beanbag and then digitally placed into that scenario. The other way people can do it is if they have the baby in the actual swing, but they've got the swing sitting on the floor or on the beanbag, it's always on the floor. So it's safe. The baby's never actually hanging somewhere. Same thing. They should never put a baby on anything glass. Like in the day, I've seen babies in like vases with gumballs and stuff, but they actually put baby in a glass vase. You never know if something's gonna happen.
And the parents are okay with this?
I guess so.
They trust their
I didn't do it.
photographer.
Or they think that's how it's just done.
Yeah, they've seen it somewhere, but it was
Right.
actually maybe a composite that they've
Yeah.
seen, right? And then,
Exactly.
but this person didn't know, so they did it, So most of them are that look, if it looks too good to be true, it's usually digitally done. And same thing with you remember the gumball image, Jen? Yeah. You remember like the froggy pose. So I'll see if I can find a froggy pose, but it's when the baby's like, I don't do it much, when the baby's like this, leaning forward. So that image too, the baby's not actually, or shouldn't be actually, left alone in that position. There's always going to be hands on the baby. You're going to take multiple images holding the baby in different ways, and then just in Photoshop you combine them together so that they're like, it looks like baby's like that, but baby's not really like that. It's the same with any other poses that are like, there's one called potato sack where baby's wrapped in a big blanket many times, and it looks like it's just sitting up in this blanket. It almost looks like a light bulb upside down, right? But it's wrapped, and it shouldn't be just put in there. Like, the baby shouldn't be put like that either. It always needs to be hands on the baby, supporting the baby, their heads and their hands, so they're not.
Yeah, I saw one time in a video where they actually had the baby. They had a guitar on its edge, and they had the baby laying in the curve of the guitar with nobody holding it.
Yeah,
I was like, no. Learn how to Photoshop a person out. Have somebody holding that baby. Please.
Someone should always be. And even when I do my poses where the baby's in the bucket, there's always somebody sitting right beside the baby with their hand like this is the baby's head. Their hand is right there, and it just gets photoshopped. Or they're even actually supporting the head, in holding it in different ways, so that it's not actually putting the weight on their hands or putting weight on their, depending on how they're posed, on their throats, or cutting off circulation. Yeah. And then you just Photoshop out that helping hand, right? And I have to tell parents, like, even 100 years ago when I worked at Sears Portrait Studio, when I worked there a long time ago, the kids used to sit on a table, like, when you would do this, and you'd have to tell the parents to sit beside your child for this whole thing. Don't get up. I can make your kid laugh. I'll get, but they would get up all the time, and I'd have to tell you, you have to stay there. You have to stay there in case your child decides it's going to fall off the table. They think they're not going to fall off, but they fall off the table. It happens. It's the same. You never know. Baby's going to just hiccup or something and just startle enough, and baby falls over. So you got to have somebody there. And I see that in a lot of new photographers who you see their pictures and the baby's in their bucket, but you have to ask, is there somebody there close by just in case? Even if the baby was, I have them, they jerk back and then just hit their head on the side of the bucket or something like that, right?
No, babies move, and they're unpredictable, and
you got to be safe, and you got to make sure that they can breathe and that they're not being overheated with the heater or with the amount of wraps.
What's the safety of the subject has to be first and foremost.
Yeah, you got to really, it's a little human being, right?
Yep.
His little baby, you never know.
I think a lot of people get caught up in, I need to have this pose so I can put it on my social media because it looks good. And I think that definitely has some bearing in it.
And some of the babies don't even they don't like to do it. I've had babies that have been born with, dislocated collarbones, or, they had problems with, and you got to be extra careful with those babies too when you're moving them and doing stuff. You got to really take into consideration. And if you put a baby in a pose and they don't like it, you're going to know that they don't like it. And then I stop, put them into a different pose that they like. And I'm not going to force it into some weird pretzel pose. They're cute. Right. There's a lot of cute baby poses out there, but it's not worth making a baby or a parent upset over, or hurting a baby for a photo,
So when it comes to stress management, I'm talking about yourself as a photographer, because like I said, I've tried a few newborn stuff, and I get stressed maybe 20 minutes into the thing. It's very stressful. So I'm trying to figure out, how do you manage to stay calm and deal with the anxiety or stress when it comes to because like what I have problems with most of the time is, like you said, where babies can be fuzzy and they can be screaming, and no, so sometimes me seeing a baby cry, that's my personality, it kind of bothers me a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't do babies too much, because I can't stand to see a baby crying, especially when they're really screaming and yelling. How do you keep calm and handle that stress?
I don't find newborns stressful personally. I find 1-year-olds stressful. I find 2-year-olds, even 3-year-olds can be pretty stressful. I don't, because they're a little crazy. Newborns usually they want to be snuggled, they want to be warm, they want to be comfortable, and they want to be fed. And so really, if you check all those boxes, you can do it. You can get it done. I know sometimes with the parents, if the baby cries, the dad comes running over, like, oh, baby's crying, because I know it's stressful for the parents too, right? Like, so the easier I can get baby to sleep, the easier it is on the parents and on me. But it's really just a matter of, I don't know if I've just learned tricks over the years, and I'm sure I have, doing bum pats or just what worked with other babies to get them to sleep or get them to calm down. And then watching the baby. If baby's hungry, sometimes they come and parents say they fed the baby before they arrive, but baby's hungry again. It could just be having one of those days where it's going to eat a lot. I have to ask mom to feed baby again. And when she does, usually baby's okay. Gas is the hardest thing, because you can't do anything with gas except wait, try and, encourage the farts and stuff, It's when you want, come on, you can do it.
Encourage the farts. Put that on a t-shirt.
So typically, how long do you book a session for? Can you do this in an hour or 2 hours? How long would it normally take?
For me, it's average probably, if I'm doing like a full gallery of 20 photos with parents, and also it depends if there's siblings involved, because they take the most time, siblings. And a lot of those photos are composites too, right? Like you see baby sitting, with a sibling, or, you've seen ones where the baby's in a bucket beside sibling, or in like a stroller or whatever. Usually, depending on how old the sibling is, the baby's not actually there. It's a composite, right? Or you get it and then place the baby. You do the baby separate in that, do the toddler separate, put it together, because you don't want, I've had toddlers, even 4-year-olds, they're sitting cross-legged and holding baby down. And then all of a sudden they're done. They just drop baby, get up and go, They're like, I'm done with this. You got to watch those toddlers.
Man.
I forget the question with all my yapping now. I was going somewhere.
Just how long you typically book for a session?
Oh, yeah. For me, it's average 2 hours for a full gallery. Sometimes it can be done a lot quicker. If baby comes and sleeps through the whole thing and it's got no problems, I can do it a lot quicker. And I've had some that have lasted longer, because baby's been, every time I move the baby, I got to comfort them and get them back to sleep again, and, get them posed, and they wake up and do it over again.
Okay.
So Kim would like to
varies.
know, ever done preemie photography with kangaroo care?
Oh, I've done preemie photography, but like kangaroo care when you're holding the baby, right? Like they're doing skin on skin. Is that what you mean?
That I don't know what she means by that. She just said kangaroo care.
Yeah, Kimberly, if you can say, I've done preemie babies, but I haven't done like specific. I mean, I've done poses where the baby's being skin on skin with dad or mom, but not specifically for that reason.
Yes.
I think most of the time, most of the time when I do these babies, they're usually a couple weeks old. And I've had preemie babies too, but they sometimes have been in the hospital for a while before they come to see me. Kim meant skin on skin.
Skin on skin.
I've done skin on skin just because baby likes it and that's what works, or mom wants to show, the connection that way. But it's not something I do often. But I mean, I don't have a problem doing it if somebody requests it. It's always fun, and baby likes it.
I've done like 2 newborn shoots in my life, and one of them, one of my favorite photos I've ever taken was mom and baby had just finished the feeding, and they were just bonding, and I just snapped a picture of them bonding after the feeding.
Yeah.
That was just a genuine, real moment, and it's probably one of my favorite photos I've ever taken.
Powerful.
I do think something that I want to do again that I did more when I would go to people's homes, and I've gotten out of now that I have like the home studio and I do more of the pose stuff, is more of the candid and lifestyle. It might be something I've been thinking about offering, because I get people who ask, you know, can you come to the house to do photos? And I would come and do. Now I don't, with the stuff that I show on my website and all this pose things. I'm not going to bring all that stuff anymore because it's too much stuff to bring. I'm too old for that now. But just go do lifestyle and get more candid pictures like that. You know, more. I want to say real, but you know,
moments.
Candid, yeah. You know,
moments.
just mom and dad. As I've done that in, like I say, in the past, and I enjoyed those too.
Right.
They're nice to see. Like, you know, you caught something you weren't planning in your mind to do. You know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Powerful.
Yeah. My photography business started because of my twin girls. They were born preemies too.
Yeah.
And well, I had been shooting on and off during the film days, but I really got serious with photography because at the time when they were born, because they were in the hospital for like 3 months. So I wanted to capture every day of their lives. So I used to do a photo shoot, like a baby photo shoot, every month since they came home, up until they started walking. Then I couldn't anymore because it became so hard to keep up with them, and they're walking and they're screaming and their mood swings and stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's a different beast.
Yeah, I think when they're babies, it's a little bit more manageable for me if they're like newborns and they sleep, right? Like you were saying. But the toddlers that 1 year go up and who are started to crawl and walking and around, for me, that's one of the hardest people to shoot.
As soon as they start walking,
I can't even shoot my own kids anymore.
And I even have before I did a photo shoot where, you know, the 1-year-old was already, like, my son walked when he was 10 and a half months. He walked young. So you get the 1-year-olds that come to do the cake smashes or that kind of thing, right? And they're already walking or running, and you can't, in my little studio, you keep putting them back in the same spot. They get pretty upset with that pretty quickly. So I say, you know what, that's not going to work. Let's reschedule something outdoors and go just chase them around outside, because you can't keep putting them back in the same spot. They're like, no. And once they know, they're smart. They know that you want that. So they're like, I can't do that.
Trying to give you trouble.
So I'm going to pop up one of your photos here, Sharon. And you can tell us about it, because it's one that you sent me specifically. There.
Oh, so this was just showing, it's hard to see on here, actually. It was easier on my screen, but the editing for the baby, this baby was a bit older. This baby was a month old, if I remember correctly, about a month old. And the mom had missed doing the photos for whatever reason. And so she really wanted some sleeping poses, but I can't ever guarantee that with an older baby. A lot of times that works out fine, but you can get a few of them, right? And then they wake up and they're done, because once they wake up, they're awake for a little while. But because she was older, she had a lot of the baby acne. Usually after 2 weeks, that starts with babies. I don't think all babies get it, but a lot of them do. And it's like just like a teenage thing, right? Or small little red bumps everywhere. So sometimes with photos like this, it takes a lot of editing time, because you have to touch up all of this stuff off of their face. So like every pose that you have, you need to go in and just get all the little baby, because almost all babies have the flaky, dry skin, right? That's normal. And the parents will come and say, oh, baby's so flaky. I'm like, it's normal. You'll go look back and remember when they were so flaky. Like at the time they think it's bad, but eventually you'll get through and remember when they were all flaky like that. But yeah, they get it on their eyelids and they get it on their hands, especially. It's so hard on their fingers to like try and clean it up a little bit without messing with all their little finger rolls and stuff. But it can be quite time consuming doing that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What's your average turnaround time for photos usually? Average.
When I'm busy, normal day, like normal, and it's right now I forget everything pretty much from COVID being closed, but about 2 weeks, depending how busy I am. And it's just because it's the amount of, if I'm doing 3 sessions a week, say, and then I had a part-time job before. I've had this part-time job for like 18 years. I'd be working in there, and then I have 3 kids, and I need downtime, whatever. So
2 weeks is good though.
Sometimes, get in there and get it done. There's days where I'm editing a lot and morning till night, and then other days I just have to, like, I can't look at it anymore. And then it depends too how many babies have. Some of the sessions are, you can edit. I can find like the cake smashes and those things I can edit pretty quickly, but the newborns with the skin, a lot of times takes a lot longer.
2 weeks is good, I think.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, that's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I usually quote 2 to 4 for anything I do.
Yeah, it's better. I guess people they don't even like waiting 2 weeks because it's their new baby and they want to show it off and they want to send it to people.
They gotta put it on Instagram.
And then by the time they get the pictures, the babies change so much anyways, so I want to try and keep it. And one of my goals is usually to try and do it faster, but I can never. Usually 2 weeks is about my average that I can get it done with any sanity.
Yeah, I try and within a day or two get at least one photo back that they can share.
Right. Smart. Little teaser.
Yeah, they got something to share so they can get
Smart.
that instant gratification kind of thing happening. And
like that.
it buys you some time to edit everything else.
Get off my back.
Keep them happy. Keep them happy.
Yeah, just turn that one around, stress out, get that one done. Fire back.
I like that. I'm smart.
Yeah, sneak peeks. I used to do those.
Sneak peeks, yeah, exactly. Awesome.
Yeah, my blogging took a back seat over the last few years, so it's another thing I need to get back to doing. And I used to do the sneak peeks for people.
Yeah,
you could write a newborn blog for Get Out Shoot as well.
Yeah, you should. What's Get Out Shoot?
Come on, Paul.
Yeah, we can talk offline. Sure. Yeah. Sure. I'm down for that.
Yeah, that would actually be kind of cool.
A meetup. You know what? We do a newborn photography meetup. Wouldn't that be something? Whose baby is this? I have no idea.
Random baby showing up.
Random baby shows up.
That would actually be kind of cool. But
yeah, that would be interesting. We can have Evans lead like the lighting workshop on that. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Do all kinds of neat different lighting filters and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. 100%.
Smoke bomb babies.
Oh, now you're talking.
Yep.
Steel wool composite. Steel wool composite. Out of the fire.
Bombs and babies. Yeah.
Oh man.
That would be interesting. Andre's got ready to go.
Yeah, Andre's already writing ideas down. I can see him thinking.
Yeah.
It's a great idea, actually.
So what's I know people can look it up on your website, but just what's the average price you charge for a newborn session?
Newborns are about $450 altogether, and that's probably middle of the road for newborn photography around here. There's cheaper and there's more expensive, and I've had that pricing for quite a while. I probably should look into fixing some of that a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's what I do.
And it's a hyper competitive market here too.
Yeah, there's so many babies, but everybody's become a newborn photographer. There's always new ones coming, and then other ones going, because it's not always what you think it's going to be, right? It seems easy and fun, but then you realize it actually is work.
It's work.
Oh, yeah.
It's good snuggles and stuff with the baby, but it's still work.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. That's been one of my biggest challenges, because I have wedding clients who will come back and I'll shoot their baby showers and stuff, and then they'll call me back to come and shoot babies, and I'm like, yeah.
I'm a wedding guy. I'm a wedding dude.
Well, I've done weddings before and I won't do them anymore. So I know I'm like, no, that's not for me. So it's definitely everybody got their own thing that they're good at or that they like or they enjoy, right?
Yeah.
And I won't even I had family members ask for weddings, and I'm just like, no, I have to say no, because if I say yes, then all these other people will.
Yeah, everyone's gonna
You
ask
know, I
you.
already said no to so many people because
Yeah,
I just don't want to anymore.
100%.
Not
But
even.
I like the pressure of shooting a wedding. It's fun, but I
Yeah.
can't do the baby stuff. So no,
There's
no.
so much in some weddings. There's so much drama sometimes, you know. But yeah, I guess
That's the fun
sometimes
of
with
it.
babies too. Yeah,
That's the fun of it.
Yeah,
The drama.
I
Andrea
can
likes
that's
the
take
drama.
all
where
the
I get
drama,
stressed
right?
out. They're like, oh,
I can
somebody
take
go
all the
find
drama
Uncle
when
Jack
it
needs
comes
to
to
be in
weddings.
these photos, and he's drunk over there somewhere, and nobody can find him, and you know, and I
That's
get
what makes
stressed out.
weddings fun for me, right?
Yes.
You see all the character in people coming out when they are drunk, right?
Well, that is the part. Like the party after is always fun. Someone's always dancing
Yeah.
on the table somewhere, right? Like that's fun.
I've actually had weddings where, especially the groomsmen, they are actually really drunk before the ceremony even starts.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Weddings over newborns, eh, Andre?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just my choice. I'll send all my people to you, Sharon, then,
There you
because
go.
I just, yeah, no.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I'll send you guys all anybody who asks me about weddings, right? I got
The
people
two-
I farm out the weddings to, and the headshots and stuff.
That's-
So
Yeah, I like doing headshots.
yeah, I like just give me a baby and I'm good.
Awesome.
Yeah, we still have to get together and shoot your headshots, Sharon.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I need something. I need to. I'm waiting for a hairdresser right now, I think, but maybe
I
you
think
can.
everybody's waiting for a hairdresser.
Yeah, I know,
now,
right?
Except for those of us who don't have hair anymore.
But I guess I'm getting used to all the grays and stuff, so maybe just do it anyways. You know what? It is
Let
what
it go.
is.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I think there's been actually a big move, and I saw an article today that featured Kate Winslet on unfiltered women in media,
Yeah,
and it was actually really
That's good.
interesting. Yeah,
because not everybody wants to be a Kardashian, you know. Like
Yeah.
so much pressure. I was watching a TV commercial, and it was, I don't know what it was for, antidepressant or something like that, and I just thought, God, she's got so much makeup on, and then I found out it was a Kardashian after.
Mhm.
And I was just like, oh man, the pressure. Some
It's not always
people
what you
must
think it
feel
is.
for that, right? Like,
It's not always what you think it is, yeah. Perception.
you know, I enjoyed the article today. It was a good
yeah,
read.
I read something on that recently too, Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
And who else? There was somebody else that was, somebody else was doing it too. Oh, Alanis Morissette, I think, is another one that was going all like,
Okay.
she's always been kind of natural, no makeup anyways, but
Yeah.
she's just going to age the way it is, and I am the way I am.
Isn't it ironic?
Yeah.
Oh. Had to, guys. Had to. So are there people, Sharon, that kind of like inspire you, like on Instagram or in like the newborn photography market? Like, are there people that kind of inspire you?
I think sometimes I'll see something that is like cute or colors. Like I don't do a lot of colors. I do a lot of like neutrals and stuff because I'm try to in my thing and bring attention. Like I did that one. Bryan's got that one with the green or aqua color that's really bright, but I love that color. But I try and bring attention to the baby more. And sometimes I'll see these colorful ones and think, oh, you know, that's kind of neat. Maybe, you know,
Right.
maternity is where I would like to up my game in maternity photography. And there's a lot of maternity photographers that I've been watching over this last year in particular, who are in more glamorous and I don't have a lot of space in my home studio. So I'm trying to figure out ways. Ultimately, I'd like to get out of my home and get a space like, you know, out of the house so I can have more room, so I can shoot more full bodies with the right lens and the right lighting and do what I want to do because I'm cramped where I am. So it makes it hard to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So right now for me, maternity photography and more glamorous or more like, I don't know, different poses that I can't always get. That's what I'm looking at. My goals, I think, this year are.
Love it. Branching out.
Yeah,
So
I do
maternity is just kind of a natural extension, right? You do the maternity first and then the newborn.
Yeah.
So it kind of
and
flows
not all
together.
moms wanted pictures of that, or, you know, they don't feel great, you know. that's fine. But I just, for my studio work anyways, I want to try, and it's hard being cramped. So that's my goals. I want to
Love it. Crush
try
it.
and find
Crush it,
something.
Sharon.
Hmm.
All us Brampton people should get together and get a
You
studio.
guys got to like pool your money and open up a studio.
368
Yeah.
Brampton.
I'd
That
do
would be
it.
cool.
Do it. If it's
It's
368,
so
even better.
expensive.
I
And I just
know.
think, oh man, by the time I do all that, I'm gonna have nothing.
When
It's a bit of a crap
when
dinner.
COVID started, I was looking into spaces for studio, but man, I had to give up because
Yeah.
Rent is
way too
expensive
much.
in Brampton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much. And then, yeah, I think maybe I can share a studio with somebody, right? As long as I guess there's enough room that you could both work at the same, like, you know, I didn't want to have to be like, oh, I can only book on Monday, Wednesday, Friday kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. Yeah,
Because
for sure.
for me, one of the things that kind of also made me not go into it full time, it was for the studio, was that right now I'm not doing photography full time. I still do my 9 to 5, and I do photography evenings and weekends and stuff like that. So comparing that and looking at the rent that I'm
Mhm.
only probably going to be using only in the evenings and on the weekends, it wasn't.
Yeah. And if you want to rent it out, then you have to hire somebody to watch
you
it
have to-
for
yeah.
you. And
Yeah.
yeah.
But we should talk because, yeah, I don't do a lot on evenings and weekends for babies. So
Yeah.
it would work out.
There you go.
Do it. I love it.
Yeah. 368 Brampton coming
Oh man,
soon.
that'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Totally awesome. So
You
where
know,
can people find you
sorry.
on? Sorry, go ahead, Sharon.
No, I was just gonna say I do these Christmas minis every year with, like, I have repeat clients that come every Christmas, and I do these little Christmas minis for the kids, and I do it out of my little tiny, and I want to rent because it's so. I try to do a couple setups, and every year I need more space. I need bigger because the kids are getting bigger, and I'm constantly spending all this time editing out the edge of this and the edge of that or whatever. So this year I was going to look into renting or finding, so like they got Brampton dance studios and stuff that you can rent hourly, maybe, you know, try and do something like that.
I think
Yeah, I do something like that for families. Christmas minis for families.
Mhm.
But that last year I didn't do it because of COVID.
Yeah.
But usually what I do is there's a studio in Mississauga, Studio by House,
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
where you can rent for half a day or a full day, and it's pretty well priced.
Yeah. I've
So
seen
that's what I
that
do:
one.
get that place and then set up a couple of sessions spots.
That's
and
what I think
bring
for
people
sure.
in.
so. I've actually heard, and this is for the Brampton residents, that if you are a Brampton resident, you can get very cheap, if not free, space in rec centers.
Correct.
They have meeting rooms and stuff, so you can
Yes,
either get it very
I've
cheap
used,
or free.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
I
used
never
them
thought of
before, and it's actually really. I think I ended up paying like $5 an hour or so for it instead of the regular $50 an hour.
Yeah, as long as
Oh.
you're a resident of Brampton, you can get a
That's
really good
smart.
price on it. Yeah.
I did mine early last year because of COVID. I did them in October, and I did them in my parents' garage, so I could have the door open and let the air, and everybody felt safe, whatever, right? But then you know, the wind and the neighbor's cat kept coming in and stuff, you know. But it was
make the cat part of the photos.
Get it? Yeah, I did it early. It was before Halloween, doing the Christmas stuff just to get it done, but it worked out luckily because then everything was shut down again. So
do what you gotta do.
yeah.
Love it.
So, what is your worst experience ever on a newborn shoot?
Man.
It was with a baby that peed on Dad, and I think Dad was having a bad day. And Dad kind of got a little bit yelly with the baby and was kind of upset with the baby for getting peed on. And so that kind of made me feel bad. And that was probably when I started sort of like, okay, I'm not going to do these naked baby on. Most parents are okay. They get, you know, I think that was probably my worst one. Yeah, and also getting pooed on. Like I was one time too, the baby was, it's not that it's bad, it's just, you know, you got to finish your session with poop in your hair. Baby had peed on the floor, and Dad was holding baby, and I was wiping it up off the floor, and then baby pooped, and it just went like, oh, I was like,
Oh no.
man, that's fun.
That's one who has crawled through dog
clean
poop.
this up.
Yeah, I've crawled through dog poop to get photos of kids, and
Yeah.
It just comes with the job sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Just got to do it.
Yeah. It's not all glamorous. For people who think photography is all glamorous,
No,
no.
it's
Nope.
No.
the exact opposite.
And with the newborn, I'm sitting. I've got the heater going, so it's warm in the studio, and then I'm sweating like, especially when we were open for a little bit there, like in just before we shut down again from COVID, and I was wearing the mask. It's even hotter.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, looks like I just did a whole workout, right? And I'm just sitting there burping a baby. It's real glamorous. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's looking pretty rough.
Get all sweaty and poopy and peed on, and then you got to sit at your desk and edit for more hours than you spend shooting. Significantly more hours spent editing than shooting.
Well, I see why a lot of these photographers are going to these posing tables, because they're now like tables instead of the bean. Like my beanbag is on the floor, and it's maybe, I don't know, maybe 12 inches high, so I sit on this little stool, and when I'm shooting babies on the beanbag, and I can shoot like from above and sometimes I'm up off the stool and I'm down on the floor, and I'm up and I'm down, and my knees and my back are getting old for that. So maybe the tables where I should look. I'm nervous about putting a newborn on a table, right? Like I know they've got it all. They've got it like specifically locked down, and a lot of photographers are using it. Babies don't usually go anywhere. The table's big enough, but I got to wrap my head around after the Sears thing, putting kids on tables, right? I just kind of, but I get it, because it can get hard. It can get hard on your back and your knees.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I believe it. They're little things you're photographing. So,
is there like a favorite photo that you've taken that you can point to? Is there like a favorite photo that you've taken that kind of stands out to you?
I have one downstairs in my studio. I can grab it and I'll bring it up. I'll show you.
Yeah,
it was from, I did it in their home. It was from a long time ago, but just the baby's face is just so cute. He was awake and Dad's holding him. If I could change something, I'd probably change the way Dad's hands are, but it was just like one of those sort of, moments where I'll grab it. I'll go grab it and I'll
go grab it.
I couldn't find it on my computer if I wanted.
No worries.
Give me a second.
Yep, no problem.
This is a great time for our commercial break. Cue the commercial.
Our sponsors are Babies Are Us. Pampers today.
Pampers,
Baby Are Us. Johnson & Johnson baby powder.
We'll take it.
There you go.
Okay.
I need to dust down there. Well, you can. I don't know if you can see it from here. But
oh yeah,
that's nice.
Cool.
I just love how the baby was.
Wow.
Very expressive.
Out in Dad's hand. I don't know.
Yeah,
this
like
one's one of my favorites from a long time ago. But
nice. Baby's eyes.
Like, yeah, this is okay.
This is normal.
Great
This is normal. Great photo. Got another question in. Is this from your mom, Andre?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do the pictures from a session get printed and put in an album, or do you just give digitals?
All of my sessions except for Christmas minis, and I think cherry blossoms, which I haven't been able to do for the last little while, are my only mini sessions that I do. But all of my other ones, everybody gets a 5x7 print of all their photos in their gallery. And I offer like canvas and albums and stuff like that, but not everybody. I believe in printed photos. Yeah. I'm old school. I've worked in labs, and I have 3 kids, and I'm the worst. I'm sending pictures for printing all the time, and they're not all printed. And like my son's on negatives. My daughter's was just when digital was starting, my first daughter. So her stuff's all on CDs and DVDs all over the place. And I don't even have a CD reader right now. So I got to get those off before, it's totally obsolete, because I'm a good photographer, and then my last baby, she's my third. So, nothing ever gets printed out of the third baby. My first one has like a whole scrapbook, which was inspired by Jordan's scrapbook, Bryan's, because I remember Joanne bringing in a scrapbook that I think your mom did or her mom did.
Her mom, yeah.
Of Jordan when she was a baby. And I was like, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think in, 10 years from now, if the photos are on CD and you can't get them off, at least you have the printed photos, or my clients have the printed photos.
Exactly.
Or they lose them, and you get lots of clients that are like, oh, I can't find, we moved and I can't find my USB. You tell them to back it up and tell them to print it. But even with me, I'm bad at printing my own kids' photos. Every now and then I will go and do a mass printing of them.
Yeah.
But even now it's getting harder. All the photo labs are closing. You can't just go in and get pictures done easily. You have to make a day out of going online and ordering them.
Yeah.
And so
it's showing your website here.
Phenomenal website too.
The printed stuff is important to me, but it's kind of going out of date, right? I think it'll come back. People.
I think it will. Eventually. I mean, film's back, right? Like film is back. So
yeah, I see. There was a car commercial the other day I saw, and I said to my husband, I'm like, is that? He just had put film in a camera and closed, and I'm like, that's so cool. Like, I know one of you guys shoot film a lot, or is it Calvin? I guess
Calvin shoots film. Yeah.
Calvin shoots film, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I've never shot film.
You've shot film, Bryan.
Not
recently.
Yeah. No, like back in the point and shoot when I didn't do photography days. A little bit, but
you got to learn. Like, I've done weddings on film,
Yeah.
And
I still have a couple of film cameras. It's just a matter of
put it in the challenge bucket, Bryan.
Become more of a challenge.
Put it in the challenge bucket, Bryan.
There we go. Buy disposables, and we should do that. A disposable camera challenge.
100%.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Well, working in like mini labs is so fun, seeing all these disposable cameras. Joanne, I'm sure, has stories too, where you're like developing people's photos, and, like those wedding ones, and drunk people with, man, they're fun. They were so fun. I miss that. I miss developing people's photos.
The hunting photos and.
Yeah, all of a sudden you get something nasty in your face.
The not safe for work photos.
Yeah. Cover up the machine. There's something nasty coming out.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
What you do this weekend? For anyone that's looking, you can find Sharon's website at sharonvphotography.ca. I flashed up a bit of it there just so you could see it.
Yeah.
And last question, maybe. Okay. You just talked about your delivery, how you deliver the images, and you talked about the gallery. Quick question: how do you, what do you use for the gallery? Are you using your website for the gallery, or are you just using a third party system?
I use Pixieset. It's a third party one. Yeah, so they can view them and they can download them right to their computer, and they can download the high res and the low res. So I don't have to size them for them, or I don't have to necessarily worry about them trying to size them and then getting the emails I need to size. It does it for them, right? And they can just download it instead of emailing. And I think Dropbox is good too. I haven't used it that much, but you email, it compromises the quality and all that stuff, right? So Pixieset, they can download directly to their computer, and it retains a lot of the original size. You can set the different sizes they can download at. So if you don't want them to download high res, you can turn that off. And just like if they only have low res in your package or whatever. And then they can also share and have like their own little slideshow there. So it's worked for me. I like it. And then I just order the prints that go to them, and I just have it drop shipped from the lab, so I don't have to spend any time at Canada Post.
Good plan. Spending time at Canada Post sucks.
They're not reliable. Oh,
nope.
Oh,
not
there
at
goes
all.
our sponsors.
Especially not now. Yeah. All the shipping services right now are pretty terrible. But
yes, but we won't go there
in 2023.
Yeah. Anyway, any final questions from the viewers or anyone on the panel for Sharon before we hit the hour mark here and finish up?
Well, thanks, Sharon, for taking the time. Really appreciate it. Lots of knowledge. And yeah, hopefully everyone enjoyed it in the audience. And make sure, I'm pretty sure Bryan put Sharon's Instagram and all that in the links. So go check out Sharon on Instagram. And thanks, Sharon. Pleasure.
If you
Hopefully
need
do it
more
again.
photos, look up Sharon.
Yeah,
If
you
you-
get baby pictures, give me a call.
If you ever need baby pictures, you know who to contact. Men, where are your baby pictures?
Oh,
I don't have any of
like-
mine.
I don't even think I have any.
I don't have any of mine. If I had one, I'd show it, but
I'll go find some for next week.
If you go to my Facebook album under 2019, you'll see a bunch.
Thanks,
Well,
Sharon.
I know,
It's
right? We
been,
really should have
Thank
gotten.
you.
Thanks, Sharon. Really appreciate it.
it's been a
don't,
very
don't
informative.
log off yet,
discussion.
Sharon.
Yeah, don't log off. We
Okay.
We actually stay online. So just make sure you follow everybody here. Thank you very much for watching. And next week, the plan is to have our
NFTs, it's
NFT
coming.
show.
we just got an email.
Meek has
from the
guaranteed
boss.
it. So
If it doesn't
there's
happen,
an NFT show coming.
if it doesn't
If it
happen,
doesn't happen, blame me.
unfollow Meeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, that's it for
Anyway.
this week, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next
next
week.
week.
Take care.
Have a great evening.
Goodbye.
right.
Bye.